He couldn't remember ever having less than 10 rushing yards in a game. Let's take a listen to Jerry Jones on the Broncos defense yesterday.
I just think that you see when you limit our balance, but I'm going to give Denver some credit now. They took that away, and we would have thought that we could, even with them doing a good job fundamentally, we would have thought that the strength of our offensive line and what we had in the running game could make up for that. But no mistake, we knew they were probably as quick and as difficult a challenge for how their speed, their quickness, and we knew they were sound in the secondary.
We're joined by FS1 NFL analyst Eric Dickerson. Welcome, Eric.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes. This one's been waiting for you.
Oh, I know he has. Can I just say one thing? Forgive me. I know not what I was talking about.
Don't do that.
Just forgive me. Forgive me. I don't know what kind of.
Don't let him get away with that.
Yes.
Stand up to him. Nobody can gloat like this.
I know isn't he gloating?
It's rare that he gets to gloat, so I'm like giving it to him today because he better enjoy it while it lasts.
What I was trying to do was to help ED come on my corner so we be all happy. We can pile on you today, Skip. But no, somehow you coaxed him onto your side.
I didn't say a word.
I'm going to say this here. It starts with the defense. I think people have been talking about how great the Giants' defense is all year and even last year. And when the Broncos looked at that, I'm going to go back 2 years ago when they won the Super Bowl. Yeah. I didn't know they were that good, really, because you talk about everybody's focused in on Peyton Manning.
Right.
But all of a sudden, the Broncos' defense, we're the best defense in the league. Yesterday, they showed why they're the best defense in the league. They stuffed the run. I mean, when you shut the run down for the Dallas Cowboys, that's a big thing. I mean, they had nowhere to run. They made Dak Prescott the running back. He had the most yards rushing. Also, the weather was a factor. That weather, you talked about that. When you have to have a delay, that's in the favor, believe me, of the home team. That happened to me with the Rams in Anaheim. We played the Giants. They scored first. The goalpost fell down. It was about a 45-minute delay. I think we beat them 33-12. That is in your favor. The running game was non-existent. I mean, it really was. I mean, I got to say that you think that the offensive line should have dominated the Broncos' defensive front, totally different. They made Trevor Siemian look like a young Joe Montana. They really did.
I wouldn't go that far.
I go that far.
I would have
you're on his bandwagon.
You know I'm not on the bandwagon, but they did. I mean, anytime they gave up 4 touchdowns, Pat, they haven't done that since, 2013? So the Cowboys did not look like the Cowboys that we thought they'd look like going down to Denver. I mean, Denver totally dominated that football game.
No, the Cowboys didn't look like the Cowboys you thought. Y'all two thought.
Oh, we thought
they are who we thought they were.
So, Eric Dickerson, what happened back in, what was that, 85? When you ran all over my Dallas Cowboys, you remember the numbers, right? 248. And then what? Then you had to go to Soldier Field to play the 85 Bears. And what happened in that game?
They stuffed the run.
Thank you.
They stuffed it.
Do you remember your numbers? Or
I had about 50 yards.
50 yards. That's better than Zeke.
I had 50 yards. I mean, look. I mean, they were ready for Zeke. They really were. That defense was all geeked up for the run. They said, if we beat this offensive line, we have this game. That's what they did. You look at I always say, if the defense gets into the backfield, the game is over. The running play is done. That's a win. And they had a lot of penetration.
Hold on, time out. Wait a minute. I need a full timeout, Joy, here, because that 20 seconds is not good enough. I need a full timeout. Correct me if I'm wrong, Skip and ED. Do the Dallas Cowboys have the best left tackle in the game of football? Yes, they do.
They do.
One of them.
Oh, stop it, Skip.
Yes, they do.
Can't believe you. Do they have the best center in pro football? They do.
They do.
Do they have the best right guard in football?
Yes.
Skip, at the coin toss, the Cowboys won the coin toss. Tell the people at home what happened, Skip.
What'd your research tell you?
Skip, don't do me like this, Skip. The Dallas Cowboys won the coin toss.
Until they deferred.
No, they said we want the ball.
They want the ball.
We want the ball. We gonna stick it up, y'all. You know what?
They do it every game.
Skip.
It's usually 10 plays, 75 yards, touchdown. That's what they do.
As AP said, I told Sean Payton to run it up their donkey. So he ever gonna try to run the ball up their donkey. You remember that happened? You know what happened in the AFC Championship game, Skip? Now you know Bill Belichick always defers, but he said, "Tom, go on out there and show him what we're about." 3 plays later, he was standing right there beside Coach Belichick because Broncos got him off the field.
And 3 plays later, yesterday, Dak and Zeke were back on the sideline.
Yeah, exactly. I keep telling you, 5,280 feet. That's where dreams go to die. You got to go way up in there.
And that's a factor, too. You might say that element is not that is a big factor. And I'm telling you, that hour delay is big.
That's why, Skip, they dressed 6 wide receivers because they thought that was going to be a factor, and they only dressed 4 cornerbacks. And so now when guy get nicked, you down there like, who's looking around, who's going to play corner? This is what you call dominant. You know, Ben McAdoo said, you know, all running backs run the same when there is nowhere to run. When you shut it off, Skip, when you turn the water, ain't no more coming out the faucet.
The Giants shut it off, and he found all kinds of holes because he made his own holes.
Don't do that, Skip.
Well, he was heaped up for Ben McAdoo.
Why didn't he make those holes yesterday?
Wasn't nowhere to run.
Exactly.
Wasn't nowhere to run.
Nowhere to run. You can run, but you can't hide.
So
Skip.
here's the truth. Yesterday was in large part our fault. My fault and Eric's fault, because you know and I know the Broncos watch Undisputed. They're hanging around early in the locker room. They're watching Undisputed, and they're saying, seriously? The greatest running back ever just said that. Again, I stopped short of your pick because I said I'm just taking Dak over Trev. But you said, no, you're taking Dak and Zeke.
And the offensive line. And the offensive line. I did. That was a challenge to their defense. So
the wolf was howling. Did you hear the wolf howling?
So here's what happened yesterday. Here's the bottom line to everything that happened. My Cowboys played a revenge game on opening Sunday night at Jerry World against a division rival, an arch rival that beat them twice the year before. And it was emotional, and they spilled over with revenge, and they got it. They dominated the New York Football Giants, and everybody all week told them how great they are. And you know Dallas, Texas, because you played in Dallas, Texas at Southern Methodist University, and you know how that city can hero worship you when you are a star in that town. That is a star city. And all of a sudden, the Cowboys started thinking, you know what, we got this. Trevor Siemian, they started thinking the way I did. We got this. So they just kind of rolled into Denver. And had anybody on that roster ever played in that stadium before? Nobody had. No. It's not a division rival. They hadn't gone there last year. They didn't get what was about to hit them right between the eyes. You know it, and I know it, because Tom Brady has a hard time in that stadium. Am I right?
Yes.
He's 3-7 lifetime at Mile High. And all of a sudden, the offensive line got punched in the mouth right across the ball on the first series and the second series and the third series. And Ezekiel Elliott had never faced that in his life. And you know what? I think it was the greatest thing that could have ever happened to Zeke and Dak and the offensive line and the whole football team, because it's going to humble them, it's going to humiliate them, and it's going to refocus them on, oh, it's not that easy. We won 13 games last year. We won 11 in a row. But it really isn't that easy when you go to a place like that and you're not ready to play. Well, you could just see it.
When you're on the sideline, the best way to stop the Dallas Cowboys is keep that offense on the sideline. And they did that. In the third quarter, they really did that. I mean, I think they took up 7 minutes, the Broncos did on the drive. And if you keep them on the sidelines, their defense is going to let them down. I mean, it was like they were non-existent yesterday.
Okay, they were non-existent because they were decimated in the secondary. Orlando Scandrick, I know you don't follow him that closely, but I'm a nut. So Orlando Scandrick's by far the best player in the secondary. He broke his hand against the Giants. I thought he would go. He didn't go.
Can I ask you a question?
Well, no, let me finish.
Okay.
And then Nolan Carroll, I'm not saying he's any great shakes, but he started 54 games for the Philadelphia Eagles, and he's a good zone corner. He had a couple of bad plays early in the game, but then he's in concussion protocol, and in the first quarter, he's gone. And then Chidobe Awuzie, he's my best of the young kids drafted, and he pulls his hamstring on the second series of the game, and he's gone. And they picked up that Ben Wickery from Carolina, who started for them last year.
Wickery?
Yeah, that guy, Benet, or however you say his name.
Yeah, you know.
And they didn't even suit him up yesterday. They didn't dress him because they thought, well, we'll be okay. They didn't think they're going to lose everybody else in the secondary. So he's throwing against me. That's who. Trevor Siemian looked like Dak Prescott, eating time.
Joe Montana.
Yeah, he went Joe Montana. But look at the time of possession.
Has Dak ever thrown 4 touchdowns in the game?
I don't know.
You don't know what your research tell you. What your research tell you?
Yeah.
I think 3.
No.
Oh, so you mean to tell me Trevor's? But anyway, hold on. You said the secondary.
Is this the same Trevor Siemian that you ripped the whole offseason and said we don't have a quarterback?
I need to reclaim my time. I'm reclaiming my time, ED.
Okay, no, you got it. Come on. I want to hear what you got to say.
Okay, Skip said that the reason why they struggled in the secondary because all of them got hurt, and that's why Trevor threw. Okay, what about Sean Lee? He's a linebacker. Did he play yesterday?
He played.
Okay, what about Jalen Smith? He's also a linebacker.
Yes.
Stephen Paez.
You know what? Jalen Smith isn't ready to play. He looks like he's playing on one leg. Anthony Hitchens is better than Jalen Smith right now, and he's out.
Is he ready to collect the check? Does he walk upstairs and get that check?
He's all they got.
Okay. DeMarcus Lawrence, did he play?
Yeah.
He had one big play, and Trevor, Trev as you call him, right on schedule, he coughed it to us twice. And I figured he'd make two big mistakes, but the game was already out of hand when he made the mistake.
Why was the game out of hand? Were y'all not playing? Y'all get that late? Y'all
I'm
arrived late?
crippled. I don't have anybody.
They were driving down with that first interception he hit.
Yeah.
And it went right through his hands. He should have caught that. But it was a hard catch. It was a hard catch. You know, he's trying to catch the ball like this.
Oh, you mean that's the Dak throw? That was terrible.
And that wasn't a really bad throw.
No.
It wasn't a bad throw.
It was a good throw.
But Skip keeps talking about Trev throwing the ball. What were they doing about CJ running that ball down? They throw.
They ran some OT plays.
Once you can throw it, then you can run it.
No.
It all goes together.
No. Once you can run it, you can throw it.
I think it went the other way.
Because if you notice, Dak, they couldn't run with Zeke. Mm-hmm. And Dak was averaging a little under 5 yards a throw. Now, Brock Osweiler last year averaged 5.8. Yesterday, Dak was 4.76.
How many times did he throw to Des Bryant?
That's what, and see, Skip,
16 times.
16
Wrong.
What Skip gets upset about is that why do all the evaluators, the general managers, and people that make decisions, why are they so out on Dak? Because they look around and it says, you know what? Any quarterback in that system that's getting 6 yards on first down with that offensive line can do what Dak does. If you take Dak out of that element and put him somewhere else, I'm not sure he can do what they're doing. And what we saw yesterday, it bared.
I thought he played pretty well.
I thought he played pretty well. I mean, one thing the Cowboys they don't have a true deep threat. Somebody that they say, okay, can run an up.
And by the way, Terrence Williams can get behind you, but he's gimpy on a bad ankle. He is.
But you've got to have that. If you don't have that, especially in this kind of territory, Jimmy,
I agree.
It's going to hurt you.
Yep.
You can get behind them if you can run the football, because now you can play past them and throw the ball over their head when there's no threat of the run to leave them back there.
Well,
Roby,
and you're 3 and 14 on third down. That's long.
That won't work.
Hold on.
And what was Trevor Montana? He was like 9 of 15 on third down.
It's a big
Trevor Montana.
Hey, ED.
It's incredible.
ED, you know it's a lot easier to pick up 3rd and 1 to 3 than it is 3rd to 6 to 8.
Yeah, you know what? Dak often threw it on first down for 8 yards.
Because he wasn't getting nothing running.
Oh, please.
Choke it off.
We gotta leave it there. Check out Skip's Facebook today, facebook.com/RealSkipBayless. He's gonna do a Facebook Live on the Cowboys.
Forgive me.
At 7 p.m. Eastern tonight, Eric will be back later in the show. Could the Bengals sign Colin Kaepernick? We'll discuss that next.